Hello everyone! It's me again, doing another one of those anime DVD review things that y'all seem to like so much. I've got 2 new additions to my collection since the release of the last video, and I've been dying to talk about them, so. Same rules as last time, we're going to be focusing on DVD releases, specifically on their packaging and special features. Though, this time we got entries that are more obscure than Full Metal Panic, so I'll be sure to give you guys a bit more context behind what I'm talking about. But, I think I'll start off this video by easing you guys into something more familiar. Specifically the ADV Director's Cut Resurrection Edition. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, I want to specify that I also have the Blu-ray release of the whole series done by G-Kids. It's important as I feel like the G-Kids release and the ADV release both have interesting things to talk about, but I feel like I only have time to talk about the one, so for now let's just focus on the ADV release, as it's less content dense of the two. Similar to a lot of these DVDs, I found this at some kind of antique place in my hometown. It's funny because my nephew dragged me there while I was drunk out of my mind, and when I got home, this DVD was just in my possession. The store is also just gone now, almost like it never even existed, and this DVD is the only proof that I have the whole thing was real. Now, since this is an individual DVD and not a box set, I only have access to episodes 21 through 23, which, according to this release, have added scenes. The DVD case is very minimalist, which I think fits what this release is going for. It makes it feel like a special edition DVD, especially with how shiny all the metal parts in the packaging are. Though, there isn't much else to talk about other than this little paper detailing the different chapters and changes made. Where I think this DVD release really shines is in the DVD menu's presentation. The menus emulate the computer displays of Nerve Control Center, and it not only does a stellar job of emulating the feel of the show, but also adds to the atmosphere. The main selling point of this DVD is that it includes episodes as they aired on TV, as well as the new Director's Cut editions with added scenes. Most of these scenes added in the Director's Cut version of the episodes just add more context to what's going on, especially with this batch of episodes, as they are very lore-heavy. A notable example is the CCTV footage of the second impact at the beginning of episode 21. It gives the viewer this glimpse into the horror that traumatized Misato as a child. I also enjoy the added scenes of Asuka in episode 22. The whole point of that episode is getting a look into Asuka's past and why she acts the way that she does. So by adding these scenes, it lets us see more into her mind and allows the audience to understand her better. Another interesting detail I noticed is that I'm pretty sure a lot of the scenes, at least in the English version, were redubbed from their original versions. Here, take a listen.
Why do I have to suffer through this just because I'm a girl? It's not like I want to have children anyway. Why do I have to suffer through this just because I'm a girl? It's not like I want to have children anyway.
This actually leads me into my next point and why I bought this despite already owning the whole series on Blu-ray. In 2019, Netflix began streaming the show, and with it they redubbed the English version with new VAs which replaced the classic dub from the 90s.
Not gloomy, it's morning. And here I was, nice enough to say hello. So you should be feeling elated.
This in turn seemingly had a ramification in which the classic dub is now hard to come by on physical releases, as they just use the Netflix dub now. That's why this release caught my eye, as since it was from 2004, it meant that it still used the classic dub. Now, I know people love under the sub over dub mentality, but me personally, I prefer dub in a lot of cases, and knowing that there's a version of one of my favorite shows that's not readily available anymore creates this itch in my collector's mindset that I just need to scratch. What also sucks is they somehow lost the rights to a 6-decade-old song, meaning every new release uses Ray's theme for the credits instead of Fly Me to the Moon. Another interesting feature of this Evangelion release comes in its one and only unique bonus feature. It's an interview with Ben Wooden and Richard Taylor of Weta Workshop! It's in all caps, so I have to say it like that. Best known for their work on the Lord of the Rings films. Where I know them from is making the Cow Mangler in TF2. Best soldier weapon, by the way. Fight me on it. The interview involves them discussing their plans for a live-action Evangelion project in which they show concept art and discuss their feelings about the project. I quite enjoy this interview, as you can really tell these two have an understanding and appreciation of the source material and just want to do it justice. While the idea is cool, ultimately I'm kind of glad this project fell through and was never made. If we're going off when the DVD was released, then this would have been 3 years before Transformers hit theaters. I feel like the technology might have been a little premature for the time, and also the audience knowledge of giant robots not really being there. I also just don't like the designs of the Evas. They lean way too much into the monster aspect and pretty much give away that they're living organisms. Unlike in the show, where they're robotic until their shells break away and you start to see the horror that lies inside. Even with a movie like Pacific Rim, which was basically a love letter to the mecha genre and was made specifically for American audiences, flopped hard when it first released. So I feel like this film wouldn't have been made without sacrificing a lot of the elements that made the original special. Let's also keep in mind that 6 years earlier, America tried to adapt another beloved Japanese franchise, and that went about as well as mixing peanut butter and bacon. Like I said earlier, this is the only unique special feature on this disc. The only other content included is the intro and the outro without text. So while the presentation of this release is stellar, it's a little mediocre in the content department. Speaking of mediocre, the Super Milk Chan show. Fuck you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I fucking hate you, I hate you so fucking much. I don't know if you guys remember that trailer I showed you in my last video showing off this show. But here it is, the Super Milk Chan show. I figured, this looks cool, I'll buy it, I'll see if it's any good. No, it wasn't, I hate this thing! Let's backtrack a little and let me explain what the fuck a Super Milk Chan even is. The Super Milk Chan show is a 2004 comedy anime about this little devil child named Super Milk Chan, who's a superhero. Unfortunately, her and her robot sidekick are really bad at their jobs, so they fuck up everything they do. Now, when you watch this show, you expect cartoons, right? They open the episode with this weird, almost sitcom-style introduction with the ADV staff running around doing skits in their offices.
Casting fat. I'm being cast as fat people. And mothers. I mean, do I look like a mother to you, or do I sound like a fat person?
And I timed it. It takes nearly 4 minutes before you even see any actual animation. And every time I had to watch it for this video, that 4 minutes began to feel longer and longer. It doesn't stop there either. Several parts of the show are interrupted by more of these skits, and I don't want to be a dickhead because I bet the ADV staff had a lot of fun doing these, but they're just not funny.
Oh, that's right. You never did anything with Jelaine. Even though you were in a room alone for hours and hours.
Well, maybe I'll go after you now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, wait, you're legal.
What the fuck? Is this guy playing a pedophile? It's like when Pop Team Epic has those jokes that don't really make sense and are just weird for the sake of being weird, but instead every single joke is like that. You know what the funny part is too? The anime is better paced with these shitty skits in it. Super Milk Chan might be one of the slowest shows I've ever watched. It's agonizing. Next time somebody complains to you about an anime like Lucky Star or Non-Non-Biori having nothing happen in them, just show them this scene.
Hey, Tetsuko, these things stink.
I know. My nose says stop, but my mouth says don't you dare.
If they smell this bad going in, imagine what it's like coming out.
This isn't even a one-off bit either, the whole show is like this. So by having these skits in the middle that break up the pacing, it almost makes it better in a way. In fact, the DVD actually comes with 2 discs, one being an Americanized version and the other being the original Japanese version, without any of the ADV editions. And watching that was miserable. You know, I didn't think things could get worse about this show, but they do. It comes down to the jokes. Now, I will give them credit, there are a few funny moments that did make me laugh, specifically this part.
Kanji. 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 Kanji.
This is sick.
Kanji! I want to have sex with you!
But the show really suffers in other areas, as a lot of the humor is focused on making outdated pop culture references. Half the time I hear them, it's kinda funny, but other times I genuinely have no idea who they're talking about. It's okay to make pop culture jokes, that's why South Park is so popular, but you gotta have other stuff in there or else it expires quicker than spoiled milk. Haha, see what I fucking did there? I'm about on the same fucking level of humor as this goddamn show. I'm so fucking funny. They make me want to merge without looking. The show also just has too many running gags. It makes every episode feel too similar and repetitive. Some gags include Milk telling people to shut up, this ant couple that are constantly fighting, Milk's gay landlord wanting rent money. Yes, they call him that. They have the robot guy making a comment about an eye patch guy being his father, and it's the same line every single time.
Please don't let this be my father.
Also, there's this green guy who has some kind of inner monologue every episode for some reason.
Man, what the
Fuck.
Hit me up, CIA, because I think I found a new way to torture people, and it only costs you $40 on eBay. I think what stings the most for me is that I really want to like this show. The art style is fucking beautiful. It's one of the most visually distinct animes I've seen, from this era no less, and would easily crush any anime all looks the same arguments. It really reminds me of the type of stuff that Cartoon Network was making in the 90s with shows like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Lab. The show is also just weird. I like weird stuff. Pop Team Epic and Smiling Friends are two of my favorite shows. I grew up on weird Newgrounds parody animation shit, so it hurts so much to say this anime is bad. Now, I'd be doing it a disservice if I didn't at least talk about the contents of this DVD. It includes a lot of special features that we haven't really seen up to this point in other ADV releases. The animated menus look really nice. The style of the show is reflected beautifully into the DVD menu, and while it's not as animated as something like the Azumanga Daioh release, the style well makes up for it. They include a lot of special features on both discs, including some notes about the different references in the show, which include things like Rei Ayanami, some knockoff Gundams, a PlayStation, and that fuck-ass baby from the early 2000s. They also have these like shitpost interviews with the cast.
Which president do you think your character is most like?
Well, I think he has some George in him.
Mike, do you think he's got maybe a little dick? A little Richard Nixon in him?
Well, he lies a lot.
Trailers are also included, and they even include these weird Milk-chan shorts that are described as vintage episodes, so you get a little extra content on top of the actual show. I actually kind of prefer these shorter form vintage episodes. They don't drag on as long since they're just shorts. My only real complaint is that instead they're done in cell animation rather than the digital animation used in the main segments, so it doesn't look as nice. I'm noticing a pattern here where every time I like something about this show, there's something else that ruins it. It doesn't end there either. We got more stuff on the Japanese DVD. Now, while they didn't put as much effort into this disc, they still have some pretty interesting stuff on here, including an opening and closing animation from the show as it aired in Japan. We didn't get this in the American version, we just got whatever the hell this is. Unfortunately, there's no audio. I'm assuming it's probably due to copyright issues. Zeta Gundam and the aforementioned Evangelion had similar issues when re-releasing their shows, having to change the opening to background music rather than the lyrical ones originally made for the show. The intro looks really cool, as from what I understand it references a lot of old school anime. But unfortunately my knowledge of retro anime is limited to Gundam and Lupin the Third. Maybe Speed Racer on a good day.
He's going over that cliff!
It's kind of weird how they put this much effort into a release for a show this mediocre. I guess that's just ADV for you. It's all or nothing for them. See, it's actually kind of funny though. Soon after watching the Super Milk-chan show, I found another anime that has a nearly identical setup for its plot, while doing it way better than Milk ever could. Presenting Excel Saga! Yep, this is gonna be my obligatory obscure pick for the video. If you thought Fullmetal Panic was obscure, just look at how many works this show has on Danborio compared to it. Excel Saga is a 1999 comedy anime that follows the titular Excel, who is joined by her coworker Hyatt, as they desperately attempt to take over the famous F-City for their evil boss, Lord El Palazzo. Unfortunately, they're really bad at their jobs and often fuck things up to a very comical degree. Also, the show has this really interesting format where each episode parodies a different genre of anime, such as sports, horror, action, and visual novel, just to name a few. The show is the complete opposite of what the Super Milk-chan show was. Whereas that show moved at a snail's pace, this one is constantly moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour. Excel talks so fast that even though you don't understand what she's saying half the time, it's funny just because of how absurd it is.
This is Lord El Palazzo, the super commander of the super secret ideological organization across. Menchi, a dog I picked up. Pedro, immigrant worker. Koshirito, not apparent anymore. Namshi, looks to be a regular, don't know why. Unemployed neighbors, I don't know them either. Mysterious old guy, appearing in episode 5.
talked so fast, in fact, that the English voice actor had to quit halfway through the show because her voice was so damaged from playing the character. I mean, who can blame her? I mean, listen to this.
You there without any childhood friends, mates, or stepkids, sisters, and with completely mature armpits? Do you recall that day after school when you snuck into the classroom and licked all over the baby food of the girl you liked? Do you remember the folk dance where the boys and girls gym classes had to line up because they were not...
The parody aspect of the show also really enhances the comedy, being extremely meta for 1999. Excel literally kills the author of the manga in the first episode, and the director of the anime just kind of shows up randomly to do cool badass things. It's a really great time. It's one of the most entertaining animes I've seen in a while. But we're not here to talk about plot, we're here to talk about DVDs. And besides, I don't want to give away too much, as you should really watch this show. It's free on YouTube, so you have no excuse not to watch it. I think I found it, guys. This might be the holy grail of my DVD collection. ADV put their fucking heart and soul into this. Not only is this a great box set, but the one I bought secondhand is autographed by Monica Ryle, who voices Hyatt in the show. For the uninformed, Monica might be the single most casted female VA in the history of the anime dubbing industry. Some famous characters she's played include...
There's a lot more, but I don't watch this show, so I don't care.
It's also funny because another VA, Hilary Hagg, has almost the exact same problem, and they often appear in the same shows together. Hell, Super Milk-chan is an example of them working together.
This is bad. Tetsuko just can't stop herself.
Another one being Ghost Stories, which means when I see Hilary Hagg playing Best Girl Captain Tessarosa in Full Metal Panic, I can only think of her saying this.
Kentaro, what are you, retarded?
Alright, so you should know how this works by now, and for once in this video, these DVDs have actual physical stuff to talk about. I didn't say they were interesting, but certainly are there. The DVD comes in this really nice box with a lot of little fun details and in-jokes all over it. I like that it almost feels like an in-universe product being made by Across, which is the evil organization that Excel works for. The DVD's got these little extras inside of them, and according to an old-ass TV tropes page, these things are called feelies. And each DVD except for the first one comes with one. In Volume 2 you get Propaganda. This one goes on my wall right next to Dick Doug. With Volume 4 you get Jesus Christ! Sorry folks, I thought Excel was about to tell me to find her pages or some shit. This is an Excel face game. You push out these little face pieces to make your own Excel face. Be careful though, she bites. My collector's mindset goes against me cutting out these pieces, so I just drew one. Now Volume 5 is where it gets interesting. You get the official Excel Saga board game. Finally, a good excuse to get all my friends together to play this. Yeah. Excuse me, kind sir. Would you like to play the Excel Saga board game with me?
What the fuck is this? Okay, yeah, come in.
This is cool in concept, but it's just a piece of paper and doesn't really have any interesting mechanics outside of a rock, paper, scissors minigame you play at one point. You'd probably have more fun playing Candyland, honestly. In Volume 3, you get this tapping sumo game where you cut out these little paper dolls and have them duel each other. Now, when I first got these, I didn't know what the hell a tapping sumo game was until I had an epiphany and realized there's a minigame in Tomodachi Life that's exactly this but swapped to be football. Finally, in Volume 6, we get... Man, Excel sure is one... You see, I don't really know how to feel about these inclusions, because on one hand, they're just cheap pieces of paper that you only get mild entertainment out of. But on the other hand, it's so fucking stupid to imagine a grown-ass man playing with these that it loops around to being funny again. And I could totally imagine this being a joke in the show. Like, I could see Lord El Palazzo being like, "The ignorant masses love our DVD box sets so much that they'll buy them even though they're filled with junk. We shall use this to gain power and influence over the masses so that we may take over the city." Now, the DVDs are even more content-dense, including a ton of special features. They include a lot of your typical ADV editions, including creditless openings and endings, TV advertisements, and say it with me now, production sketches. That's not to say there aren't any unique special features, far from it. There's interviews with the staff, early versions of the intro, anti-piracy screens, in-universe gags, and even a DVD game. Okay, so this is me playing the Excel Saga DVD game. Find the mint. Okay.
I boil water in my belly button. Oh, Kababoo.
I think it's this one. I hope I got it right. This is really scary, guys. This is like that one game. All these basics. Does that mean I won? Did I win? Okay. They even include the option to have these pop-ups that explain cultural references and other random trivia. You know, I appreciate that they also translate the Japanese text. So many modern Blu-ray releases don't even bother to do this, and it's so annoying. There's a character in the show whose whole thing is that he talks through on-screen text, and on Crunchyroll they don't translate it. So a bunch of the dialogue is just inaccessible to the viewer. Having it now in a tangible form where I can read it is so invigorating, it's amazing. My only real complaint about the special features is about halfway through the volumes they change gears and start focusing a lot on this upcoming OVA called Puni Puni Poemi, which started out as a fake show in Excel Saga, but then was later turned into a real show with several callbacks to the original. I mean, if they spent so much time hyping it up, then it must be good. Let's go watch it! Yeah, I don't think I can show that on YouTube. I don't care what people online say, that wasn't good. It had a little too much underage girl ass for my liking. Also, you're telling me that that girl who looks exactly like Hyatt and is also voiced by Monica Ryle isn't Hyatt? You can't fool me, Nabashin! I know your tricks, you piece of shit! Let's get back on track. I think where these DVDs really shine is in their presentation. Every volume starts with this special copyright detailing that this DVD is property of Lord El Palazzo, and how if you pirate the show, you're going to be covered in cod oil and possibly violated by a walrus. Okay then. The DVD menus are really something to behold. Every single one of them is unique, ranging from dating sim, a computer monitor, or even a rock concert. Not to mention, each one has its own unique animations and menus. It's like my Azumanga Daioh DVD on crack. My favorite one is where it takes place in a game show. Excel and Hyatt are there, and they even have newly recorded dialogue.
Did you know indecision is the cause of most accidents?
I know what you mean, Senior. In fact, just the other day, Hyatt was trying to decide how to best put an Easter egg on his disc and electrocuted herself while she was soaking the player in the colored dye.
You said what now? Yeah, apparently these DVDs have a couple Easter eggs in them. Most of them are just goofy little videos that make little to no sense. They're cute additions, though.
We both work for Lord Palazzo. Excel does it cause she thinks he's a hotzo. As for Hyatt, she just dies a lot, so hail El Palazzo!
Makes me wish more DVDs had cute stuff like this. See, that's how you do a DVD release. Why is it so hard for you guys to understand that? I hate how boring DVD releases are now. To kind of retread my closing statement from my previous video, Excel Saga is a shining example of how good we used to have it. Modern Blu-ray releases are often just single PNG with no sub-menus or anything. Even ADV was guilty of this in their twilight years. It's just so crazy that we had all this charm back then and it just isn't there anymore. Well, I'm sure by this point the runtime of this video is a little crazy, so I think it's time to wrap things up. So, in conclusion, stay the hell away from Super Milk Chan. I'll pay anyone $5 to watch Excel Saga, because it's free on YouTube. And I'll also pay anybody $30 to also watch Puni Puni Poemi, to help pay for therapy, of course. Bye! To infinity and beyond! And before you ask, no, I didn't hear back from those fucking survey cards. The company went out of business, you idiots!